Hey, what's going on, my beautiful people? This is Certified Life and Relationship Coach, Coach Court. In today's video, I'm going to be talking to the fearful avoidance. All right, and this might be a little bit more serious of a topic than I normally talk about. Because I mean this one. I mean this one from the heart. There's just so many people, like people I know that that's really struggle with mental health, struggle with depression, struggle with different traumas that they've experienced in their childhood, and they just really struggle. So I thought I would take the time and just give you guys a few pointers for the fearful avoidant people. Um, I want to talk to you guys directly, and just let you guys know that we do care about you. And I've learned through running this YouTube channel, through coaching so many people that have an attachment style of fearful avoidance. They often feel the most misunderstood because honestly, they are the most intuitive out of all the attachments that I know. Um, and I'll get a little bit more deep into that. What's happening, everybody? Happy Saturday. So I want to talk to the FAs today. All right. I haven't made a video about you guys or for you guys in a while. About 2 years ago, when I first started my YouTube channel, I posted a video that didn't go over too well, and it was about the fearful avoidance. And I took that video back, but I know when people do the studies and they have like the statistics say that there's not a lot of fearful avoidance in this world. But I honestly feel like those numbers are skewed because I've come across a lot of people who identify personally as fearful avoiding people. Now, I don't diagnose. It's not what I'm doing. I'm not a therapist. I'm here to just give you guys the information from what I've learned and point you into the right direction on where you can find things a little bit more in depth. But there are a lot of fearful avoidance and they feel misunderstood. And I'm going to talk to you directly. All right. Give me a thumbs up if you're in here. I appreciate you being here. I know you got somewhere else to be on a Saturday and you decided to click on this notification by Court. So thank you. I really do appreciate it. I'm going to give it a few more minutes. Actually, I'm going to give it 2 more minutes to be precise so I don't waste any of your time. I want this video to be quick, concise, to the point, and healing, hopefully. I really hope this content helps people heal. Hi, Connie. Whew. It's a deep one. Whew. All right. First things first for my FAs, all right? You're going to ruin a lot of relationships when you're going through your healing journey. I'm not going to lie to you. You're not going to be perfect. It's not going to be something that's going to click right away. But as you go along, you'll start to get a little bit more wins under your belt. You'll start to get FAs are fearful avoidance, all right? Background about attachment styles. I started this channel talking about attachment style theories. Now, the fearful avoidant is what I've seen, someone who usually have a lot more complex trauma. Like I said, I'm not a therapist, so do your research. More complex trauma than the other people, or than the anxious and dismissive people. I've seen some really unhealthy households that they've come from. The holiday season is really stressful and really triggering for them. My original career was working with at-risk youth, and I did that for 13, 14 years. And I've seen kids come from all different types of backgrounds. And I've seen the direct result of coming from a background with complex trauma and you not having that, being able to trust people. So fearful avoidance, there's anxious, there's dismissive, there's fearful, there's secure. Right? And the fearful avoidant has a combination of the anxious tendencies and the dismissive tendencies. The anxious person is someone who fears abandonment the most, where they'll constantly be waiting on the other shoe to drop or picking up on someone's inconsistencies, and they're just the ones that you would consider clingy, or needy, the needy type. The avoidant ones are the ones that are constantly pushing people away. They don't see relationship as something that's actually necessary. They're the ones that people tend to chase after the most, because they are the ones that come up as like the not needy, the bad boys, the person who they're good with you or without you. which keeps you on more, but it also carries over into the relationship where you don't feel fulfilled by being with that type of person. Now, the fearful avoidant has both of those qualities where they can go from being a needy and clingy one to pulling back and pushing you away. But it's to a different degree with a fearful avoidant, right? They tend to be more volatile, where they'll blow up and they'll hurt you before you get the opportunity to hurt them. And from what I've seen, this usually came from backgrounds of trauma, complex, or getting out of relationships with someone who were probably unhealthy for you. You learn different tendencies that um, helped you survive in that relationship, but it also carried over into other relationships. All right. And I'm going to talk to you guys 4 points for you. Fearful avoidance. All right. Hope that helped you, give you a little background. First off, forgive yourself. When you're going through a breakup, this is for people who are fearful of avoiding, you're going through a breakup right now. And you're looking back, you're beating yourself up, and you're thinking, why didn't I just show up better? Why am I like this? Why am I such a broken person? But another thing I learned about fearful avoidance, they are the ones that dive the deepest into personal development, like really deep. And they want to solve the problems. I mean, I've seen a lot of them that are really successful they're your artists, they're your people that are making the biggest impact. A lot of people I know that are healers and influencers, they are fearful avoidance. They may be really good at what they do, but it's just something about that not being able to trust. I've coached a lot of them, which is really sad. They give a lot to the world. So forgive yourself first. All right. You don't know what you don't know. And you show up to a relationship with the best tools that you have at that moment, and usually when people are going through a breakup and heartache happens, they don't dive deep into this stuff until that happens. It's kind of like the tipping point that happens for them in their life where they're like, you know what, I'm sick of this. Actually, I wrote this in my first book. And the quote was, when you hit rock bottom, grab a pebble and put it in your pocket as a reminder of a place that you'll never go before, you'll never go again, or you'll never be again, something like that. I forgive myself for letting it go on so long. All right, so forgive yourself is the first one. All right, the next one is be patient with yourself. You're going to have some throwaway relationships. Now, I'm a huge believer that in between your relationships, you need to take that time to pause, heal, go to therapy, go to counseling, read, journal. I'm an advocate for meditation because I think a lot of answers that you want in life, it comes through meditation. That's just my own personal philosophy, and that's something that I use in my life. But be patient with yourself, which means take that time. I don't have to give you a time limit because everyone's different. Some people can be out of a relationship for 3 months and be ready to go again. Some people need 3 years. I don't know. It all depends on the person. Realize that you're not going to be perfect, right? Be patient with yourself. And you may have 2-3 relationships before you finally get it right, because sometimes, just think about it. Like, look at the statistics. There's not a lot of secure people in this world. And what they tell people who have insecure attachments is try to look for someone that's more secure. But that's not always convenient or possible these days. There's a lot of traumatized people that's what I love about the ACEs test, the Adverse Childhood Experience Test. You go ahead and check that one out, where it talks about just how many traumas the average person has and don't realize, or they have and they don't realize. So check that out. It's a good one. The next one is just try to get better every time. So the first one is forgive yourself, be patient with yourself, and try to get better every single time. Every relationship that you go in, be a little bit more patient, be a little bit more consistent, and be patient with yourself. Be consistent with how you show up. Yeah, I'm here today on a weekend, but I this was near and dear to my heart, and I felt moved to talk about this for my fearful avoiding people. And I titled it this because a lot of fearful avoidance feel unloved. They feel they feel unlovable. They feel like they're broken people. And because they have these flare-ups, it can be in a relationship where it's going really well, and all of a sudden something triggers them and they end up I don't know if you want to call it sabotaging or whatever you want to call it, but they end up doing something to make the relationship go sour. And you have to understand that that's part of unfortunately, that's part of your experience right now. I mean, we can get better. You can heal. You can get to the point where you can really be mindful about when you're about to do something that's going to blow it up. And this is where that's another place where I talk about meditation. Like, you have the time to pause and say, all right, where's this feeling coming from? Why am I thinking about doing this? Why am I thinking about sending this text message to this person? Can I just write this down instead? Meditate on it. Delay. Like, when I was working in the recovery community, we push big time is take it day by day, sometimes hour by hour, minute by minute. So even if you're thinking about sending a message that you shouldn't be sending, what we told them is, when you have that urge, procrastinate that urge. Don't do it right away. Just say, I'll get to it. I'll have a drink in 20 minutes. I don't know, maybe an hour, and get busy with other things. Next thing you know, the hour has passed by. You look back. If you wrote down what you're about to text to that person, you say, that would have been a bad idea. You procrastinated it. It seems easier said than done, and it actually is. But practice that. Practice not imploding, exploding. It's essentially that little kid in you trying to take the driver's seat. And, hey, no, we're going to do this right now. No, pause. We're going to give it some time. All right, and the last one. This is the obvious one, right? Seek out some therapy or some counseling. Because when you get to the point in life where you feel like what you've been doing isn't working, it's time to start doing something different, right? It's time to start tapping into more resources. And even if it's my channel, even if this channel is helping you, and this is one thing that's been overwhelmingly, positive and just loving over the past month, is there are a lot of people that's reaching out to me saying, I've been watching you for a year, been watching you for 6 months, and you've really helped me on my journey. And I'm just glad I can do that for you and be here now, even on a Saturday, to help you guys. That's all I got. Appreciate you guys. Keep healing one day at a time, one relationship at a time, until you get it right. All right. We care about you, Fearful Avoidance, and thank you so much for watching my channel. Now always remember, when you go be loved, you'll never have to find it. Namaste.